So here's something really to think about. So black holes are supposed to be these portals to like other universes or anything like that. But at the same time, though, people have speculated they don't really know what it is because, it's just this big giant void inside of another void of the universe. So, a lot of people have often asked, what exactly is a black hole? But when you really start thinking about like how their natures work, you can really, a lot of it makes sense. So, first of all, what causes a black hole? The collapse of a star that collapsed on its own weight. But it's so significant, like the mass is so large and the orbit is so large. That's why light itself, once it crosses a certain point, it collapses on its own weight because that's the direction it reverted itself into. And because it happens so fast, that explains why something could implode in space because it's being sucked into through like another dimension to another dimension. I think really a good example of it could be like look at super massive black holes, the biggest ones they find in the center of a galaxy. They're saying that at some point, like our galaxy, for example, could have these supermassive black holes where everything gets sucked into it over time and it gets teleported somewhere else. Meanwhile, and here's something else to think about, while in the process, everything in space is moving. So is it possible that the gravitational force and the rip between two different sides is it sending it to other dimensions over time, even all across like the space-time continuum? Is it really going, so, because first of all, you have to think like how black holes work, how old are they, and how long do the big ones last before they're eventually patched up? And if that is true, then what causes, like, was there a massive star at one point that could have caused them to be as big as they were? Or did they just gradually become that for other reasons too? So anyways, you basically would have like these black holes that are sucking everything up and sending it to like, let's say another dimension, while at the same time though, it's probably going somewhere in whatever direction in the universe, and it's creating like different other universes at the same time. So it's like basically like the universe's way that we see, or all matter all together, multiplying itself, and it's another cycle starting over. So if black holes really are as deadly as they say they are, and with every reason to believe it, because one, that would explain why you don't see light traveling through them, or you don't see what it is, because it's just this, it blends really well with dark matter and dark energy and dark flow too, if you want to argue that, and whatever else you can figure out, like matter, antimatter, and all the different subgroupings of that and how that seems to react, because everything's made up of something else. Energy can't be destroyed, it can only be multiplied. But because everything in space is moving, it's got to be proof that the universe is finding a way to expand itself somehow to the point where it's creating new cycles, and then more cycles are taking over. Because it seems like we discover new galaxies, again, like the giant arc, for example, that I just made the video about. We talked about how light travels so fast, but at the same time, though, there's so much out there that, you could take a telescope and look in like a visible area, and it don't look like there's anything there, but there could be something else there that light hasn't just reached yet. But it's there, though. You just need like a really good zoom-in focused camera or some kind of telescope that can make the magnification process bigger, so that way you could see it. But it seems like the way the universe works is it kind of makes you wonder where would you cross into another dimension at. Some people speculate, the second you enter space, like, even the astronauts that have gone to space have claimed that, the universe works differently than it does on this planet. The physics are different, the time itself is different, the way it would affect you is different. It seems very, is it in another dimension, and how does that work, if it's something? So black holes being like, yeah, they'd kill you because they'd rip everything apart, send it somewhere else. But it really does make you wonder, though, where exactly does it go? And is nothing still really something if we're thinking about cosmology, quantum physics, and more importantly? Quantum physics clearly states that there's three things. Nothing can be destroyed, everything is made of energy, and even nothing is still something as far as volume goes. So if that is true, and there have been scientists that will probably definitely stand by that, then I would say that that is a good way to look at what black holes can do, simply by the way they move, the way they react, and the fact that the matter that scientists have proposed just somehow goes missing. That seems like it's just being moved to another location. So if that is true, then how do black holes eventually patch themselves up? But at the same time, though, it's very possible that those ripples in time, or whatever you want to call them, would very well have been moved to another location because the gravitational pull is so intense, but it goes one way because the gravity was so fast it imploded from one direction to the next, and that explains why everything in the beyond the event horizon, for example, the hole itself, everything is so strong and it shoots in a certain direction because it's already created a ripple because it imploded on itself, but just enough that the hole itself still exists, and now it's got this this wormhole effect somewhere wherever it goes, but because of its gravitational force it would kill you before you even got to it. So, but where would it send everything? That is a good question. So, well, I'll find more information, and please subscribe for more, because I will continue to update you when we think about the great wonders of the universe. Because, if you can think about one thing, then it definitely can lead to somewhere else.